for thousands of years. If you saw glowing eyes watching you from the darkness, you didn't think of a pet, you thought of death. The creature following your family wasn't loyal. It was a wolf. A hunter as intelligent as you. A rival for food. A danger to your children. So, how did humanity's greatest enemy become its closest friend? The answer begins over 20,000 years ago, during one of the harshest winters our planet has ever known. The Ice Age was beautiful and merciless. Great glaciers covered much of the northern world. Cold winds swept across endless grasslands. Forests stood silent beneath snow. Food was never guaranteed. Every sunrise began with the same question: would your family eat today? Small groups of hunter-gatherers followed migrating herds across vast landscapes. They carried little: stone tools, wooden spears, fire. Knowledge passed from one generation to the next. But they weren't the only hunters crossing these frozen plains. Not far away, another family searched for the very same prey: gray wolves. Fast, organized, patient. Like humans, they hunted together, protected their young, shared food, learned from one another. The Ice Age had produced two remarkable predators, living side by side, sometimes only a few hundred meters apart, but not together, never together. Because every successful hunt for one could mean starvation for the other. At least, that's what it seemed. Imagine tracking a herd of reindeer for 2 exhausting days. Your children are hungry. Your supplies are almost gone. Finally, the herd appears. But someone else has found them first. A wolf pack. The hunt explodes into motion. Snow flies into the air. The herd scatters. Humans hesitate. The wolves charge. Sometimes the wolves succeeded. Sometimes the humans did. Sometimes both walked away empty-handed. For thousands of years, they competed for the same animals. Archaeologists believe this rivalry shaped the lives of both species across Ice Age Eurasia. Yet competition doesn't always end in conflict. Sometimes it creates opportunity. And somewhere among countless encounters, something unexpected may have happened. Not an alliance, not yet, just curiosity. No one knows exactly how wolves first approached humans. There are no written records, no eyewitness accounts, only bones, ancient campsites, and clues preserved beneath the earth. One widely discussed scientific idea suggests that some wolves were naturally less fearful than others. Instead of attacking, they waited. Instead of chasing prey, they watched human camps from a distance. When hunters left behind scraps of meat, cracked bones, or discarded hides, these cautious wolves moved in after the people were gone. The boldest wolves rarely survived. The most aggressive stayed away. But the calmest, the most curious, may have discovered something extraordinary. Food, without a dangerous hunt. Generation after generation, those calmer wolves may have remained closer to human camps. Meanwhile, people began noticing something as well. The wolves that lingered nearby often detected danger long before humans did. They heard unfamiliar footsteps, smelled predators on the wind, raised the alarm. What began as accidental coexistence may have become something more. Not friendship, not yet, but perhaps the first fragile step toward trust. Something had changed. Not overnight, not because humans decided to tame wolves, and not because wolves suddenly trusted people. The change was much slower. It happened over hundreds, perhaps thousands, of years. Archaeologists believe the wolves most likely to remain near human camps were not the biggest or strongest. They were the calmest, the least fearful, the most curious. Each generation stayed just a little closer. Each generation became slightly more comfortable around people. At the same time, humans were changing too. Instead of driving every wolf away, some groups may have tolerated the quieter animals. If a wolf stayed outside the camp, didn't threaten children, and helped clean away discarded bones, there was little reason to chase it off. Then, something remarkable may have happened. One morning, a hunting party noticed the wolves moving long before they saw any prey. The wolves had already caught a scent. Their noses detected animals hidden beyond the hills. The hunters followed. Hours later, they found a herd. Was this intentional? No one knows. But archaeologists believe these repeated encounters slowly created opportunities for cooperation. Without words, without plans, two different species had begun learning from one another, and the Ice Age would never be the same. The partnership offered advantages to both sides. Humans had fire, shelter, weapons, and food left behind after meals. Wolves had something different, extraordinary senses. Their hearing reached farther. Their noses detected danger long before people could. Their speed allowed them to follow animals across enormous distances. Together, they became more effective than either species alone. One possible reconstruction imagines a hunting party moving quietly through the forest. Far ahead, the wolves suddenly stop. Their ears rise, their bodies freeze. The hunters pause. Moments later, a herd of reindeer appears beyond the trees. Whether scenes exactly like this happened, we cannot know. But the archaeological and genetic evidence suggests the relationship between humans and wolves gradually became closer. Not through force, through shared benefit. Generation after generation, trust slowly replaced fear. Neither species planned to change history. They were simply trying to survive another winter. Eventually, the wolves themselves began to change. Over many generations, the calmest wolves had the greatest chance of staying near people. Those calmer wolves were more likely to survive and raise young. Slowly, their descendants became different from the wild wolves living deeper in the forests. Their faces changed. Their bodies became slightly smaller. Their behavior became gentler. Modern genetic research shows that today's dogs descend from ancient wolves. Exactly where this transformation first happened remains one of archaeology's greatest mysteries. Some evidence points toward Eurasia. Other discoveries suggest multiple populations may have contributed. Researchers continue to debate the details, but one fact is clear. Long before cities, before farming, before written language, humans and wolves had already begun changing each other's future. The world's first dogs were not created in a single moment. They emerged through countless small interactions, repeated over thousands of years. A glance across a campfire, a shared trail, a warning howl in the night. Tiny moments that eventually transformed two species forever. Thousands of years passed. The Ice Age slowly came to an end. Forests spread across lands once buried beneath glaciers. People began settling in new places. They hunted new animals. Eventually, they discovered farming, then villages, then cities. But through every chapter of human history, one companion remained. The descendants of those ancient wolves. Dogs guarded camps, tracked wounded animals, protected livestock, pulled sleds across frozen landscapes, helped shepherd flocks, carried supplies, and, perhaps most importantly, offered companionship. Archaeologists have discovered ancient burials where humans and dogs were laid to rest together. Some dogs were buried with care, others were placed beside children or hunters. These discoveries remind us that the relationship had become something far greater than usefulness. It had become emotional. One of the oldest friendships our species has ever known. Even today, many questions remain. Exactly where did wolves first become dogs? No one knows for certain. Exactly when did the process begin? Scientists continue to debate the answer. Some evidence points to more than one place. Other studies suggest a single origin followed by thousands of years of movement alongside migrating humans. New discoveries continue to reshape our understanding. Ancient DNA, fossil remains, burial sites. Each new finding adds another piece to a story more than 20,000 years old. Science is still uncovering the details, and that uncertainty makes the story even more remarkable, because history is not a finished book. It is an ongoing investigation. Every excavation, every new genetic study brings us one step closer to understanding how two predators changed one another forever. Tonight, somewhere in the world, millions of dogs are sleeping peacefully beside people, on sofas, at the foot of beds, near front doors, or beside campfires that still burn beneath open skies. It is easy to forget that every one of them descends from ancient wolves that once watched humans from the darkness. The relationship that began with caution grew into trust. Trust became cooperation. Cooperation became partnership. And partnership became one of the most successful relationships in the history of life on Earth. The first human who looked at a wolf and chose curiosity instead of fear could never have imagined the future. Guide dogs, search and rescue dogs, police dogs, sheepdogs, family pets, all of them trace their story back to a frozen Ice Age landscape where survival brought two intelligent hunters together. Perhaps the greatest lesson is this: some of history's most important changes don't begin with conquest. They begin with understanding. The next time a dog looks up at you, remember, its ancestors once stared across an ancient campfire with the same watchful eyes. Between those two moments lie thousands of years of shared survival, shared trust, and a friendship unlike any other in nature. The story of dogs is also the story of us. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more amazing stories from the past. See you in the next video.